Hello, and welcome to another episode of Intune.training, the place to learn how to use Microsoft Intune, the Steve and Adam Show with Adam and Jóhannes.
Hey!
Hey, buddy. It's been a minute.
Yes.
I just saw you on Friday, and it's been a week since we saw each other in person at MMS. It's amazing.
It was amazing.
We are going to talk about the Edge site list, the cloud site list for Edge, which is designed to allow us to do enterprise mode, like IE mode, for our browser. So, any idea what IE mode is, Jóhannes?
As I understand it, Internet Explorer is going away, thankfully, but not completely. So you'll still be able to run an Internet Explorer tab in Edge. And this helps us control the automatic switch over, something like that.
That's right. Yeah. So essentially, there are still websites that need to be run in Internet Explorer mode. I know I'm going to struggle on that phrase, Internet Explorer. Who knew? So there's still sites that need to be run in Internet Explorer mode, and that's because they've got some sort of compatibility issue that still needs to be remediated to function properly with Edge, with modern browsers. One of the really common use cases that we found in our company is things like switch and appliance level web portals that you need to get into. Many times those need to be in IE mode. So your site may have different things, but if you're watching this video, you probably already have gone down this path and you're wondering, hey, I'm moving to Intune. How can I manage this? So to get started, let's just jump in and I'll just show you real fast on the Intune side of things, the way that you normally would do this. And you know what? They dumped my browser into dark mode during our Intune training live session. And so I apologize if you have trouble seeing this, but I don't know how to get it back out of dark mode quickly enough. And so we're just going to leave it alone. Hopefully you can see this. Sorry if you can't. Just follow along. Okay. So inside in Intune today, you have at least two ways that you can create in your internet. I'm not going to get it. Your site list. You can use administrative templates, which was the original option for doing this. So I'm just going to click through next here, and we're going to go. There we go. Site list. Let's see if we get something there. So this is Microsoft Edge. Use the enterprise mode, IE website list. This is the Internet Explorer one. This is the original Internet Explorer URL, and then this one was the Edge one. Now you'll notice that there's not a lot of entry items here. Well, that's because you have to have. Historically, you have had to have. I can't speak tonight.
No stress, Adam. Come on.
You have to host an XML file on a website, generally internally, but some website that your devices can get to that had a list. And then when your browser would launch, devices would have this configuration and entry configured here, pointing to that site list. And when they launched a browser, it would go out and talk to that site list and get an updated list. If we go to settings catalog, it's the same deal. You can get to the same list in settings catalog using administrative templates.
How do you create that list that you upload to that site?
So to do that, you've always had to use a enterprise mode site list creator utility. So there's a little applet that you'd run to create the site list, and you'd export the XML and all those sorts of things. So there's always another app that you had to use in order to create the list. But as you can see here in the settings catalog, we also have Internet Explorer and browser and Edge, where we can configure the enterprise mode site list URL as well. And so let's see, enterprise mode site list. So there's one, or enterprise modes. Enterprise site list service URL. So this one is discontinued. How about that? So under Microsoft Edge, though, come on, boy, come on, Intune, move along. There we go. Check this out. There's a new setting. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna zoom in a lot here. Configure the enterprise mode cloud site list. So you can do it on device basis or user basis, but you'll see here that you can configure this, and then so then the question is, well, do I still need to put an XML tab here, or a web address to an XML file? And the answer is no. So we're going to stop here and leave that here for a moment. And now we're going to jump over to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So when you go to the Admin Center, so admin.microsoft.com, zoom that in too. So we're going to go show all, settings, org settings. And then as we scroll down a little bit, you'll see Microsoft Edge site list. Now,
is this the only place you can configure this? It's on the admin.microsoft.com site.
That's correct. Yep.
No. Okay.
Yep. So if you want to use the cloud site list, this is where it is. And here's the docs that go along with this. And so we can, we'll put a link to this in the chat and everything. But it's got a whole bunch, or not in the chat, in the description. It's got a whole bunch of info on this. And so one of the important bits is you need to make sure that you're an Edge administrator or a GA in order to do this. So if you're looking in your admin center and you don't see this listed, you might you might not be using the right roles and things. So it's super, super simple to create the list. So this will just be our test list, and we'll create. We'll close the panel. All right, so here's our unpublished draft. All right, so that's kind of important to know here, is that we get to create a list, and then we get to validate it and publish it. And so from here we can just add a site. And so what do we want to do? Let's go to Bing. We're going to Bing it here. Let's see if this works. I don't know. We haven't actually tried this, so we'll see if this works. But so we want to tell it that it's going to open.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. So you can change the way that this works. And so you can tell it which level of compatibility mode you want it to open in and everything. So some of your vendors may have actual specific entries. They say, okay, make sure you set it this way, and this is the compatibility mode it needs to be in. So you just have to figure out how you want to do it. So Internet Explorer mode versus Internet Explorer 11 versus Edge in compatibility mode. So you kind of have various options that you can use here for making that open properly. So in my experience, you know, we have had various we've gone through various iterations attempting to get that to find the right setting for a site. And you can also the user within Edge can do this themselves. They can if you've got it enabled, they can add a site to the Internet Explorer mode list themselves. And so we could, in this case, let's fight fair here, right? All right, so we'll add Google in there, and we'll see. Okay, so now I as the user of the browser have now added Google to my enterprise modes, or to my IE mode list, and didn't do anything. So let's see. Incompatible sites. When browsing internet, in Internet Explorer, you can choose to automatically open sites in Microsoft Edge.
Let's just switch it to always.
Yeah, let's say make legacy sites work in Microsoft Edge. So this is where it's saying add under Internet Explorer mode pages. You can add legacy site, and this is it right here. So we might be trying the wrong sites to make this work as well. So, and I'm on Windows 11, so who knows how this is actually all playing. I'm wondering if it needs you to close the browser in order to take for it to take effect. But anyway, this is how the user could do it. And when we're back in our site settings list, we can save the settings here. So let's just, for sake of my care. All right, so Now, in my company, we've got like we use short names and different things like that, and so you many times would need to add multiple flavors of the name with and without www in front of it and those sorts of things. So just something to consider there. So if we want to validate the site list, no invalid sites were found, great. And then from here, let's see, what is shared cookies? I've never actually looked at that.
Yeah, I was just wondering what that was.
So add a shared cookie. Look at that. So you're going to set a cookie of some sort. There you go. If that makes any sense to you, use it, because okay, so we've added a site to our site list. It's here. It says addition pending, and that should mean that we haven't published our site yet, or site list yet. So we go back to our site list. Now we have an unpublished site list, and so now we want to publish it.
Okay. And you can do import and export too. That's pretty interesting.
So we'll say this is version 1, publish, and we'll close the panel. All changes published. Okay, so now here's the key piece that you need to do. See this ID that's listed here?
Yeah.
There it is. It refreshed on me. You need to take this ID. We need to go back over in this profile that we were working on. And we're just going to paste that in there. And that's it. So this is how
that stays consistent if when you make changes to the list?
Yep.
Nice.
And that's it. And so we're going to add a group. I call it Edge. Site mode list. Yeah, Edge site list. All right. Select. Next. Create. And that's it. That's how you create the site list. However, before we proceed, we want to add a few other settings that are going to help us out a little bit. What did I call it? Did I just call it test? Was that stupid like that? I did. Please don't affirm that in the comments, okay? Thanks. All right. So there we go. So it's still there. All right. So let's go back here and take a peek. So create the list, import, publish, and where are we at? Keep going. You can copy and share the list and all those things. And then we want to view feedback. This is what I think is really cool. View site feedback on the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So let's see. We want to, there is a setting. I haven't done this part yet, honestly, as you probably can tell. Where is the setting? Okay, so this is the cloud site list, and then this is called Internet Explorer integration, cloud user sites reporting, and cloud neutral sites reporting. And then so these will allow us to view the sites that the users have added to their local sites list. So this is what we want to configure. So we have to put in a tenant ID, which means we haven't found the right thing. Administrative templates, Microsoft Edge, configure reporting. There it is. I totally missed it. That's the name we should be finding. I'm sure everybody watching already saw it like 4 times already. Just fast forward. There it is. Aha. Okay. Just gonna enable that, and then we need the M365 Admin Center ID. And this is the neutral sites reporting one, so we'll add that one as well before we go dig all that up. Misconfigured.
It is nice how they've managed to keep the names of the policies somewhat consistent, regardless of where you're looking for them.
Hey, that's Mike Dano and team taking care of that good stuff. Thanks, Mike.
Good on you, Mike.
Yep. Okay, so then let's go find our tenant ID. Does it tell us how we want to get that? There it is. Finding your O365 tenant ID. There it is under. Okay, so this is just our Azure AD tenant ID.
Yeah.
Just checking. I'm going to dump out to another browser. Go grab it from here. I'm going to go put that in both of these spots. Okay, so in the first two, we've got, so these are for reporting. So we're telling it what tenant we have. But then for the site list, we're putting in the actual site list GUID. All right. So then we'll hit review and save. Actually, let's double check this. Does it say? Okay. All right, there we go. And then I've got two machines. I know I went the way long way around to get to sync, but here we go. All right, we're going to take a minute, let that sync. We'll check back as soon as it applies. Okay, so we're back after all, waiting for everything to synchronize. So check this out. So we figured out the URL. So edge://compat/enterprise should take you to your site list. And so on this machine, it actually still hasn't gotten the policy, but on the right it has. So on the left here, this is actually Microsoft's built-in site list that they're providing. And if we open that up, actually we'll just jump over here and show you. It is their own site list of sites that need to be in Edge or not Edge. So that's kind of cool. And I think it's just basically, hey, here's our version of a site list in case you don't have one, kind of situation. So you can view it that way, or in this instance, let's see, this is our new one that we published. So look, it's secure, so we can't just browse to that. So that makes sense. Interestingly,
do you see that GUID at the end?
Well, interestingly, looking at this, like the only thing keeping me from getting to your site list versus my site list is just this GUID, but it's permissioned, so that GUID, each site list that you publish looks like it's going to a central site list that requires you to have credentials to get to. So that's neat. But here we can see that we added Bing. Did we add Bing in our site list? Is that how we did that?
Yes.
And then locally we added Google in one of the site lists. Okay, so let me resync this one because it didn't go. Okay, so we added Bing, and so we can see that on Windows 10, we actually already have it. So that's great. Now you do have to close Edge and reopen it for it to get the settings, but that's it. So if as a user, I still have a site that I need to configure, I can still go in and add a site. I can add a site there. And so let's see if we go to Bing. Does it dump it into IE mode? It doesn't. It's not helping us out there. But it very well
it
could
should
just be
show an IE icon, I believe.
Right. But we may have done something wrong there. But
This one
ultimately,
says
you can see the
engine
site
is
list.
Edge. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see that the site list got here. Yeah, so it is saying that the engine is Edge. So I wonder how that plays is the whole deal here. So we got Internet Explorer mode diagnostics, so you can see what's going on. So that's kind of cool. Effective site list URL. There we go. So it's telling us that we're using the enterprise mode cloud site list, and that's the list that we're getting, which is what we're expecting to get. So let's see what we get when we come over here. Come on. I can't get my paste to work. Oh, yeah, because I, of course, can't do Windows V across VMs here. So this one is still telling us that it's, no, it's got it now. Okay. That's the right site list. Just hasn't See if that works. Hey, there we go. All right, so we forced update, and now we got it. Awesome. So now they both are using the site list, and wish we could come up with a site. Oh, I know. We should just do this site.
I think it's .com. Yes.
There we go. There you go, Jake. Got you, bro. All right, so we're gonna go in here. We're gonna go add that to the site list. All right, cool. And let's see what happens if we close and reopen.
Ooh,
there we
look
go.
at that.
All right, so I think it was probably something being related, Bing or Google, where it just wouldn't let us force it. So that's kind of cool. So that's dumping it into Internet Explorer mode, and so it's telling us it's an IE11 protected internet zone, and so if I guess we turn that off, it's possible. I wonder if that's the way we report. Did we see anything about how? Yeah, so that worked. So we were able to turn it off of Internet Explorer mode there. So I'm wondering if that will report a neutral site back up to here. So I don't know what the timing is for the. I went too far back. Sorry. For the feedback to come back. So we mentioned the site feedback. So that was those other two settings that we configured. So if we go into site feedback, ooh, look at that.
Oh, wow, that's quick.
Yeah,
That's really quick.
So we added those, and so I said, hey, I want this to open in IE mode, and now I can add it to my site list, and I can select a site list and go ahead and just add it in there directly, and bam, done. Added. Now, I believe you still have to publish. Yep, you have to publish it, but that's cool. And then on this one, it's saying, let's see if we want to. I want to know how you know about the neutral. But if we publish them this way, this might let us do it that way. Okay, so
I wonder
we've now added them to our site list, and it will show you now the sites that are already published versus new ones that are still pending. So that's cool. Yeah, so I think we just boogered this up. We told it to be in IE mode, but still open and potentially something like that. All right, so you've got to go back out, and then we will publish the list again. Version 1.1.
Neat.
Close panel. Okay, and then obviously you kind of got to. Actually, that's not true. We don't have to sync anymore because it's part of the browser and it's just a URL. And so we should be able to force update. Yes.
Ooh.
Add. Okay, and then we force update. Look how awesome that is. We didn't have to resync
really nice.
in order to get this stuff, right? So that's the beauty of once you get this stuff set up, like we're in business. Oh, look, this actually is popping it open into full IE because I'm on Windows 10 here where IE still exists. So we're saying don't do IE mode here. We're doing full IE. And then here we're saying, oh, wrong. I did it again. My bad.
What is that?
I don't want to know. I don't want it to load. I'm afraid. Why don't you do Hedge? Okay, so so this one's managed.
Look at that. You can't turn it off
by the org now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we give feedback on that? Send this page. No, that's sending. Okay, how do we do neutral site reporting? I want to know now because I'm invested now. They can view sites that users have added their local sites list and potentially configured neutral sites. That doesn't tell us anything. Site feedback, attachments. See the site address, number of users for adding the site, and which.
Oh, it's for you. Yeah, it's for. I think this is for manually added entries, not the policy entries. You know, it's something that the users have been doing on their own.
Okay, so it's not giving you neutral. You're not potentially not providing neutral feedback. Okay. Well, this is cool.
Indeed.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Obviously, there are additional configuration options you can do for Internet Explorer mode and all that sort of stuff. But just know that, hey, IE is coming to an end in mid June? June 15th, was that the date we saw?
I think so.
And so it's coming. Yeah, so June 15th, that was what it popped up. But as you're making this cloud transition, this is a super easy one to move. If you're already maintaining an enterprise mode site list, like we've got probably 100 or so sites on that. Now, obviously, we're going to do some cleanup and remediation on that stuff as we go, and there's probably some old things. It's nice because there's a comments field that you can put with it, so you know why you did it, when it was published, all those things. But I think it's a really nice, clean way to be able to manage the site list without having to have an XML sitting on IIS on a server somewhere.
It's just a lot easier to deal with.
Yep. So that's it. Anything else?
That's a wrap. Nothing we
All right.
could mind.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.